Well. Good evening. You know what it is.
Rise above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above, abstract.
It's the midweek chat. Just waiting for Master Lee to turn up. I don't start the midweek chat on my own. No notes, and there's quite a lot to chat already about this week. As you lot, I'm sure, have already gathered. Welcome to Rise Above midweek. Here we got in the chat room already. Sasha English, big up Marky Boy. Thanks to everyone tuning in on Facebook and on YouTube. It's our little midweek catch-up. Here he is. He appears out of the ether. Welcome, Inner Guardians. Salutations.
Salutations.
Let me turn you up. That's better. And third force elucidations.
Definitely, yeah.
Whoa. And powerful downloads as well. For both of us, by all accounts.
Yeah, I'm still a bit wobbly, to be honest.
Mate, I'm drinking red wine on a Wednesday night to actually sort of try and ground myself a little bit. I've hardly slept.
Yeah.
I've obviously, this is Wednesday. I've written no notes. I've got no notes and I've got no topics apart from the whirlwind of things in my head.
Yeah.
That's been sort of spiraling since Friday. Is it fair to say that?
Yeah, something's been triggered.
Something has been triggered. And I mean, I feel like we have potentially opened up some kind of rabbit hole. It's like we've opened some sort of portal that now the 33 is coming through.
The Eye of Ra.
Yeah, the Eye of Ra has been fully activated. It really has. And I'm sure, we might have some naysayers watching and think, well, these guys are off their heads. But we also have many other people that have been avidly watching and possibly casually watching. And I know that they've noticed something that's happened in the last couple of weeks that seems to be leaking out into the observable reality around us as well, which is quite startling at times, as you and me have been chatting about.
Yeah, well, yeah, it can be very subtle as well. It's always the subtle things that you need to look out for.
So, we had the show on Friday.
It's all about paying attention.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's how we pay. Remember, nothing's for free in this realm. There's no credit.
No.
And the way that we pay is we pay attention.
Yeah, and there has been an awful lot to pay attention to. I felt like at times I was having my face held up to it and I couldn't stop watching. But it's like, for me, I mean, it started really on Saturday. I noticed, like, because on a Saturday after the show, I sort of get up at 10 o'clock, a little bit late, maybe, have a bit of a sore head, and I sit at the console and I start looking at reviewing the show, maybe editing it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just noticed they were just like, okay, the energy's building. There's stuff going on. I knew that the footy was the next day, which the energy harvesting ritual was coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, anyone look, I'm beating around the bush here. Anyone that follows me on Facebook has seen what's happened to me since the last show. I feel like a man possessed. I feel like the Denying Force has been giving me my own personal show that I have already been given the script to. And so, I know exactly what's going on, and there's just a whole audience of people watching the Denying Force show that have no idea to translate what's going on.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had the Bread and Circus Festival on Sunday. Now I want to talk a little bit about that because I'm sure you didn't watch. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it. I was trying to follow it on social media, so I kind of got the gist of the score line.
Yeah,
but
this
then
is what I did as well.
To be fair, right, I should have put money on it because I predicted Italy to win on penalties.
Yeah, I did as well.
I've actually recorded it in terms of, like, I've got messages that I message people when they ask me what I thought the result would be. I said Italy on penalties.
Now, everything that we're talking about at the moment, I've got all the slides for this, but as you know, I don't do slides on a Wednesday night. We have a casual chat. So everything that we're talking about now, we are going to go into much more detail on Friday because I feel like this week has been absolutely monumental. But yeah, I at some points was in the same room as the Bread and Circus Festival was happening on the TV, but I made a very, very conscious effort not to look at it for a second. because I didn't want to give it my energy. Now, here's the weird thing. When it got to the penalties, I was in the room and I was still rabbit holing on my small devices in my hand and not looking at the Bread and Circus Festival because I didn't want to give it my energy. But when it comes to the penalties, I knew that we were roughly. I knew from the other people in the room that we were roughly sort of one behind or neck and neck, and it was always, they were drawing out the last bit of essence out of every single moment of that. I could have predicted it was going to go to the last penalty. I mean, I don't watch Bread and Circuses, right? But when I do, it's a big international game, and England are in it. That's the only time I'm ever in the same room as Bread and Circuses, right?
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does that not always happen? That it always goes right to the end to penalties, and it's always in the last bit. It's not like, they have penalties, and the first someone scores the first three, then the other side's knocked out. That never happens, does it?
No.
No, it doesn't. It's almost as if the anticipation and the inevitable grief that's coming is being stretched out and extracted as much as possible.
You're insinuating that it's by design.
Hey, everything's on the table. This is rise above, right?
Yeah.
Political happenings are by design. Wars are by design. We would even postulate that some illnesses might be by design, right? We know that in multiple other professional sports, match fixing is rife because there's a lot of money involved. Hey, I'm going to say it right now. I do white collar boxing emceeing. There's not a lot of money involved in that. Most of that's fixed. And there's only a few £100 involved or a few £1,000. When there's a few £billion involved and there's that much essence at stake,
Yeah.
are we really in a position to think that they're just going to leave that to the to chance? I'm postulating here. I'm not saying anything.
Well, you know that these big games can affect the whole economy of a country.
Of course.
The result.
They could affect the whole political outcome of a country by the look of it. I mean, we're going to get onto that next. Because for me, that was just the second part of the Energy Harvesting Festival ritual.
So did you experience anything by watching the penalties?
Right, sorry, I got totally sidetracked. Right, so I was trying to do my work on my tablet, on my device, and not watch the Bread and Circuses. But at one point, and I think it was 2 shots before we inevitably lost, I looked at the screen, and I knew that we were about to take a penalty, and mate, I literally felt like a fist had reached out into my chest, grabbed a big fucking handful of my essence and ripped it out of me. I could feel my tension, and I was going, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't even like Bread and Circuses. I know what all this is. What the fuck's going on? It had me.
By the grapes.
It had me by the grapes, by the metaphysical grapes, and it was squeezing my metaphysical grapes like that. And I know I'm going to say I've got in control of my third force. I know how this works, and it had me. I was like, fucking hell. Because I don't ever watch it as a point of principle. But I was like, wow, that's how powerful it is.
Yeah.
That's some powerful Bread and Circuses. Mate.
Indeed, yeah. Well, there's 2 ways of looking at it. One is like you can have your grapes squeezed unconsciously, or you can have them squeezed consciously.
Yeah.
Now, if they're squeezed consciously, you've then got a chance of actually drinking your own wine, or the wine that comes from it, as opposed to those that have their grapes squeezed unconsciously.
Someone else is drinking their wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would postulate that a lot of people had their grapes squeezed by that ritual, and the parasite absolutely gorged itself. For anyone that's seen my Facebook post, I'm going to say I was on fire after that. Like I hit the nail on the head with that parasite picture, and even people that like football, I expected a lot of backlash of that post because there's a lot of people that follow me that really like football, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with football per se. Okay, I'm talking about an energy harvesting ritual.
Well, there's not a lot wrong with a lot of things. It's a case of whether you're the experiencer or the experience.
Or the experienced. You have been experienced. Someone has experienced you.
Yeah. That's all there is. There's just the difference. Just the quality of your consciousness as to whether you can be the experiencer or the observer of the phenomenon.
Yeah. Now, what happened the day after the big Bread and Circuses energy feast? I woke up the next morning and the weather was so horrifically bad, I couldn't actually drive to work because the roads were flooded. I couldn't get to my. I only work 3 miles away from where I live. It's in a built-up area. Physically couldn't get there. I had to drive back and come home. Now I just had a thought, and I shared this thought with you, and I'll share it with everyone now. I thought to myself, if I was a Bread and Circuses fan, if I was a Moon's Fertiliser sack, just an unconscious NPC or whatever, and I had gone to the Energy Harvesting Festival and literally just spilt my loosh everywhere, I felt like absolute shit because England had lost. There's no more 3 lines on a shirt. I've lost all my energy, and I've drunken 10 cans of wife beater the night before. Now I am by default going to feel like absolute dirt, right? What would really top it off for you the next morning when you've got to go up to, let's face it, and I'm not going to be generalised here, mostly blue collar work, labourers, guys in building sites, and loads of people that work in offices as well watch the football. But a lot of those people that were at the football were working people, had to get up at 8 o'clock the next morning, most of them, and go to work in that. Yeah. And now this is going to sound really far out, but I'm going to say it anyway. If I was one of those top horizontalists working for the dark occultists, and I was in charge of the administration of this energy harvesting festival for the consumers, the parasite, whatever it is, however we're conceptualising this. When you have a really good party and you've consumed loads of whatever, when you wake up the next morning, some people want hair of the dog that bit them, they want a little bit more to take the edge off it. Yeah. Or maybe the parasite the next morning thought, oh God, I really gorged myself from their essence last night. Fancy a little bit more. What would really piss them off? Well, that's the type of people that have got access to HAARP, maybe. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's why...
just a thought. Do you know what I mean?
I sent that video. I don't know if you saw it. I sent it, I don't know, a couple of hours ago in the private group.
Which one? We've got 6.
I can't remember which one. It was the weather manipulation.
No, mate. I had to stop looking at my device a couple of hours ago because people are still sending me videos and stuff. I'm going to stop. No, I haven't seen it. What was it?
Well, I didn't look into it too much, but I sent it to you because I thought you might get a chance to look at it.
Okay, I'll review it. I'll review it before Friday because remember we don't bring any external media in on Wednesdays. It's just chat. But I'm going to build a whole slideshow of like covering this week. So yeah, and then
that'd be the equivalent of like being a collapsed deck chair on a beach in the rain with an Italian flag or towel draped across it.
With a German sat on top of the Italian, a German using an Italian flag as the towel to get the deck chair in the morning.
Gosh,
hey, the Aborigine language is really coming on.
So that would have been the final squeeze and grind of the pulp left from the grapes. Yeah.
The last drops, the real scraping the bottom of the essence barrel. Yeah, so the parasite really gorged itself this week, but then it wasn't finished because then after it had harvested all the energy from the grief of not winning Euro 2020, it decided to go onto the BLM summer narrative and start stirring the race pot. And look, I shouldn't have to say this, but like no one that's pointing this out is denying that there's racists or racism. That is a stupid thing to suggest. What we're pointing out when we talk about this is the way that the media is using various different techniques to again harvest negative energy. I'm going to come back to this theme because we always try to go one step deeper. It is about harvesting energy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it sells papers. Raunchy headlines sell papers. No. Wait. You think this is about selling papers? Who buys newspapers anymore?
Well, when you think about it, majority of racism is a type of social conditioning for the most part. I think people inherently aren't racist, and we see this in children. It's something that comes with age, with regards to social conditioning, and sort of a territorial thing, of which the boundaries will be like physical territory, culture, gender, then race, religion. And these are all boxes that we get placed into at some point or another. And for the most part, I like I say, I don't believe that people are inherently racist. I think
me neither.
Yeah. It's a social conditioning.
And I don't think this country is 10% as racist as the media would have you think. But I don't want to dwell on that aspect of it because I think it's a red herring. It's about energy. To me, it seems
Well,
like
the first principles, yeah. Let's take it to first principles. Part of the download that I took after last week's show was to do with the sun, and I've had these thoughts before, right? Now, you understand perpetual motion and that you can't have something without something. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
something can't be powered for free. Yeah, or maybe it can, but under the knowledge that we've got, something has to be fueled. Now, have you ever thought about this? Take a look at the sun, right? And we're told that it's a flaming ball of fire or whatever, yeah?
Yeah.
But what is fueling it?
Yeah, because
Why does it never go out? There must be something fueling it.
yes, because look, if the fuel is coming from inside the burning fireball, why isn't it already burnt out? Have you ever seen a burning? What is it? An everlasting explosion? Have you ever seen an explosion that doesn't happen instantly and just burns out? Like, yeah, that's an amazing point.
Yeah, I mean,
What is fueling the sun?
Yeah, because it should have burnt out by now. But and is there a pipe going to it with some petrol or something, some kind of fuel? And remember, right? Have you ever done any fire training at all?
I've done a fire safety course when I was a security guard at a holiday park.
Yeah. So in order to have a fire, you need 3 things, don't you?
Yeah, you need to have fuel,
Yeah.
oxygen, and ignition, spark, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Heat. So there you see the 3 forces, or the law of 3 in action. Even something like fire. Yeah, this is what they teach. If you remove one of those forces, you've got no fire. It's impossible to have fire.
Yeah, you can't. That's why you can't have fire in a vacuum.
Yeah, and it's a triad. Yeah.
So I always come back to the triads.
Yeah.
Mate, but we haven't even really talked about like the impact that the law of 3 has had since we dropped that. So many people, so many people have been messaging me, emailing me, sending me pictures of 33 that they screenshotted underneath my comments where it says 30 all the time. I'll show you all on Friday. But I think we've really helped some people. I think we have genuinely helped some people at least start to regain their third force.
Yeah, well, I did try and give a warning that it may transform, your existence in this realm.
You did. You actually said, I'm just going to give a warning. What I'm going to say might transform reality. You weren't lying. We opened the rabbit hole. We opened the eye of Ra.
Well, I'll give you another law of 3. So, for instance, the timeline, right? We all know this, right? You've got past, present, and future. Now, we generally understand that we don't know the future. Well, in actual fact, if your triad's in order and in good working condition, you can actually see the future.
Are you trying to suggest that conspiracy theorists can see the future because they've got their triad in order?
Potentially, yeah. Why not?
That's an interesting thought, isn't it?
The deck chair is erected.
They have a fully erect deck chair.
In the sun.
In the sun with no Italian flag or any German sitting on it. So, well, what is reading the future? Because let's break it down. The first word is reading, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Some people accuse me of thinking that I can read the future because I'd say things that happen 6 months before they happen, along with other people. So I have no special abilities.
Yeah.
Well, the first word gives it away. It's called reading, right? Because believe it or not, the future is written down because the future is being forecast from the present.
Yeah.
In my opinion, okay, it is being forecast from the present by those that are in control of more than one triad. Their triad and our triad. Again, this is what the 33 is about. And those who are in control of those two triads, they like to forecast and tell us what they're doing ahead of time.
Yeah.
We need to know the signs and where to look for it.
Well, you're going into the realms of are we the creators or the recipients of this realm?
I'm very glad that you just said that. Because here's the other thing which has really helped my download ability this week, What day is it today? Wednesday. It was Monday night when I was finally sort of able to potentially sleep after Friday, and I was lying in bed, and YouTube was just playing in the background, and I was I was still downloading. I was like sweating. It was like there was a lot going on, and I was trying to like just not look at my phone because people kept sending me stuff, and it was all interconnected. And then on YouTube, I just started speaking. It said, "I am Ra," and it was a recording of the Law of One, the channelings of Ra. Okay,
Yeah.
and obviously this is something I spoke to about before, and I know you've looked into it. For anyone that doesn't know what this is, I've said before, this is the ultimate Rise Above homework. The clue is in the name, Ra, Rise Above. Okay, it's a channeling from the 80s. I would say it's the closest thing to the undiluted or the undistorted sacred teaching of all existence. But the start of the channeling, he starts it with "I am Ra," and I was just lying there. So this electronic voice comes on, "I am Ra," and the channeling starts. And to say like I felt like it was speaking directly to me would probably be an understatement. Again, to naysayers and to those who are still only with two forces on the horizontal line, this will sound like the words of a madman. Ra talks about the fact that we are the creator. We are co-creators.
Yeah.
And Ra
Well,
conceptualizes...
we can be.
We can be, yes.
Yeah.
But we are not by... we should be by default, but we are not... we're not inherently, but we can be.
Well, remember weeks ago or even months ago, I said that nature takes us up to a certain point naturally, and then it leaves you there, and then it's down to your decision as to whether you want to actually evolve further than that point.
Yeah, you have to
We are
participate.
the only creatures, right, that actually have to make an effort in this realm to transcend.
Yeah,
All of the
yes,
creatures
yes.
have absolutely no ambition to transcend other than what they already are.
Yeah. Now, what Ra says in the channelings of Ra, when he talks about the denying force, and he doesn't say those words, but this is what he says. He says, the denying force are here to provide a catalyst. And this is what you say as well. And you say, this catalyst, they are trying to negatively charge us. Okay? Because in their minds, the more we're negatively charged in this negative cycle, then our next harvest may be positive.
Yeah.
Now, this made me think really hard, right? I've honestly felt like I've been channeling something in the last couple of days, and my activity has been. I had no choice about those posts I was making; they were happening. Though the information was coming to me, I was processing it, I was putting it out, and I was trying to de-occult what was happening in real time. And I thought to myself, and I tried to use this theme of this catalyst. What have I actually been doing, right? Well, it's catalytic conversion. Now listen, they're providing a catalyst to try and harvest as much negative energy as they can from negative emotions like fear, anger, jealousy, rage, etc. Disappointment, yeah. Okay. Well, through whatever I've been doing and whatever my abilities or my learnings have been, I have got the ability to see that very, very clearly for what it is. Like I said, I felt this week like I've had a direct channel to the director's cut of what the denying force is doing.
Yeah.
Well, if I can take that catalyst and convert it into an inverted energy, or whatever you want to call it, de-occultism, basically, I'm converting it into an energy which is de-occulting the denying force. Because if anyone's been watching my post this week, everything that they've done, I've tried to counteract it. Master Lee, have you ever seen a one-handed puppet master?
A hidden hand.
No, like like a traditional puppeteer. Have you ever seen one with one hand?
Well, the puppet's got one hand.
No,
Oh.
the puppeteer. I've never seen a one-handed puppeteer.
Well, they normally got two.
Of
Two
course.
Okay. Yeah.
And the point that I'm getting at, the puppet master always has two hands. So what I saw online this week, and I hope I shook some people up. I saw a lot of people that are completely on board to the way that the denying force works with the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
But as soon as it did exactly the same thing with another medium, which
get
was
lost.
the football and racism,
Yeah.
couldn't see it.
Yeah.
So when I say I've never seen a one-handed puppet master, I'm sure there's a one-handed puppeteer somewhere, but he can only do one puppet like that. It's not very impressive.
Mm.
A puppet master always uses the left hand and the right hand. And that doesn't mean necessarily the two opposing forces of one argument, i.e. Tory, Labour, whatever.
Red
It
and
means
blue.
that it doesn't necessarily mean when it means if you've identified the puppet master's hand over here doing this, well, if something else happens over here, then you should always ultimately assume that that's the puppet master's hand as well, because most of the time you'll find out it is. So yeah, catalytic conversion.
Well, here's one for you, right? In in protection or personal protection. So, for instance, if somebody rings your doorbell, and this is in context with personal protection, technically, you should actually check the back door because it's a distraction. So if there's a
How many
commotion,
people do that? How many people do that? None.
no,
Nobody. But you do, don't you? You check.
Well, it's
Checking the command
literally
room.
it's literally like a foundation principle of personal protection, the art of distraction. Look at how pickpockets operate. Distraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's basics really. When we think about it.
It is because again, anyone that's following some of the posts I made, it's not easy. It's not difficult to pick apart. Well, it's not difficult to show that is a puppet master's hand when you look past the very thin veneer. Racist tweets. Bot farms in India. Look. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like I was trying to say last week or the week before that this whole spearing program, they told us it was one thing. It's the old people. It's nothing to do. The youngsters have got nothing to worry about. And then look what's happening now. What are they going for now?
Yeah.
The complete opposite.
Well, yeah, because the puppet master's hand is over here with Marcus Rashford and Raheem Sterling and that. They've made those guys out to be saints, and then they've just fed them to the lions. It's mental when you realise how this works.
But this is also embedded in the occult and the esoteric teachings. The whole thing about as above, so below. Yeah, that is actually used against the vast majority of the population and occultists. As above, so below. Think about it. Think of the pyramid. As above, so below. In actual fact, it should be as below, so above, or as within, so without. Now, this is the greatest trick of all time. So we automatically assume or say quite happily, as without, so within, as above, so below. But when you actually look at that in itself, what is it telling you? It means that you're the effect, not the cause. You can be manipulated from above.
Yeah,
from without.
it automatically puts you at the bottom of the triad.
Yeah.
It puts you at the bottom of an upside down triad.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's lots of occultists that don't even pick up on that.
Because at the end of the day, let's face it, the dark occultist, the real dark occultist, or the negatively charged fourth dimensional entities, as Ra would call them, that actually walk the earth as humans,
Mm-hmm.
they are slaves. They might be doing service to self here in this realm.
Yeah.
But the reason that they're having to do 95% negatively charged service to self is because they're serving a master who demands it.
Mm.
And they will ultimately feel the karmic effects of what they do as well. Oh, I feel so different after recharging on the Law of One this week. Honestly, I feel ready to become man number 4 now. Absolutely ready to learn the fourth force. Absolutely ready.
Yeah, I mean, these numbers, they keep coming up. I mean, what dimension do they say we live in? The third
Well,
dimension.
third dimension.
Yeah. Is it coincidence that it's the third dimension?
No.
Law of three, triads,
No.
33.
Everything is everything. I
We already-
know.
We already know these truths. It's just that we just don't really know how to approach them or how to look at them.
I was saying to the missus earlier on, I was saying, like, Lee is the greatest teacher that's never taught me anything. All he's done is, and you know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
You have obviously taught me some things I didn't know before, but the greatest things you've ever taught me are the things that I already knew that I forgot. You're the greatest reminder of all time.
Well, yeah, I said ages ago about there's many different ways of teaching people, but there's two fundamental ways. One is that you teach somebody as though they don't know anything. And the other one is that you teach them as though they do know it. They just don't remember how to do it. So you just remind them. So one is teaching from a kind of negative perspective, and the other one's teaching from a positive. So I use the latter. So with my students, I work on the assumption that they already know what I'm about to teach them. I just need to provoke or poke or
Provide the catalyst.
provide the and this is what the denying force. See, the denying force can actually be very useful if you understand how the laws work. Yeah.
Mate, I literally was activated by the catalyst that the denying force provided me this week, which started probably on Saturday night before Bread and Circuses. That's when I started to feel like I was in full flow state. I wasn't even using the fire system anymore. The fire system for me is a day-to-day system of recognition and activation. Focus, intent, remember, and execute. Those are all conscious decisions put into hierarchy, put into a linear pattern for maximum effect. Well, when the denying force started to really present itself to me on Saturday evening, when I was just looking, I sit here with all these screens. I have all these screens for a reason. It's so I can take in more. I'll tell you what, this week, if I had 2 keyboards and 4 arms, I could have really done some damage. But when it started charging me, especially during the Bread and Circuses on Sunday, I really felt it. I literally was in flow state. The fire system was way back there, and it was just happening. I actually felt not that I didn't feel in control, but it was something that was happening. And then Richard Branson happened. Just to top it off after the energy heart. Well,
It's another coincidence.
Yes, it is. Let's put it like this, because once the Bread and Circuses and the race baiting energy harvesting finishes, it was like, right, let's stop. We've got all the negative energy now. Let's get a bit of fake wonder and awe. That's what it felt like to me.
On the Virgin Galactic.
Did you see the video that I sent about the altimeter?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
About how the feed cut. Was it Harry that sent that to me this morning? Someone sent that to me this morning, when I was trying to stop the downloads. I woke up at like 8 o'clock this morning. Lance, look at this, and my phone has been like an Uzi 9mm today, just with the notifications going off. People sending me 33. Branson, he's flying up in his spaceship, and at 2 minutes 30, so that's 2 3s, or roughly just after 2 minutes 30, the screen starts shaking, and the altimeter suddenly goes to 0.
Yeah.
But if you look at the last number on the altimeter before the screen, something happened to the stream. There was a bit of glitching, and the altimeter clearly went 0. The last number on there was 179,000 feet and something. It was on there for a millisecond.
Yeah.
So what? If you Google how many miles that is, it's 33. It was 33.9 miles.
Yeah.
No. No. There is a certain student.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all.
Okay.
But there was one rather reluctant student of the Aborisian Mystery School. He sits at the back of the class and he pretends not to listen, but he does. He pointed out, we'll call him Des, because we don't want to dox people online. Des Beddoes, we'll call him. Des is very interested, but he's also super skeptical. As you know, we've been interacting. I've been interacting with him a long time. I've known the guy for a long time. You've been interacting a little bit.
Yeah.
He said, "Well,
But that's not a bad thing, you know.
no.
Cartesian doubts.
I invite skepticism because
Yeah.
for people that are sitting on the fence, there's no point in me just preaching to the choir. I need some taxing questions.
Yeah.
For people that are sitting on the fence, they need these questions. So we welcome Des. Well, he pointed out that, you know, wouldn't it have been good if it was exactly 1,800, exactly 33? And I thought, well, what's it? So the stream would cut in exactly when it hits exactly 33 miles, not 33.01. And I was like, well, yeah, that would have been good if it wasn't 33.9. You know, 33 was still the amount of miles. But I said, if it was exactly 33 miles, would that have made a difference? Would it have, you know, swayed you? So there might be something going on here. But yeah, I mean, it's not the only time that 33 has literally head dived into what we've been discussing, or the occulting.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it seems to be like just photo bombing everything that I'm doing. No, literally, and I'm going to show this on Friday because loads of people watching will probably be some of the people who have been sending me stuff. It's like,
Well, the general conclusion with regards to the Richard Branson
son.
expedition is that it's
So the outer limits.
Yeah, it's a complete occult ritual,
Yeah.
and they're kind of. I mean, personally, I don't think they actually did anything of the sorts. I think they just went up and back down again.
Well, he probably just did whatever they do every time they go up and do one of those flightless flights where you simulate weightlessness. They've been doing it for decades. You go up to the edge of the atmosphere and you know just dive down so everyone feels weightless. Whoa, we went to space.
Yeah. Well,
hey,
what I think it's all to do with is that it's part of a ritual where they're sending the energy up and they're getting everybody to look in a particular direction. I mean, I've mentioned this many times, and remember their objective is to keep you in the 3D realm. Yeah. Now, even on the horizontal line, by looking up, you're still not actually transcending. You're just looking up. Now, what they're trying to replicate is that you can only have transcendence physically, not metaphysically. And also, what they're reinforcing is that you can only get to the outer limits or to the heights if you've got money. And is it by coincidence that you've got billionaires that are going up there?
Oh yeah,
So
and also
so they're reinforcing the need to be wealthy.
monetizing space.
Well, they're monetizing transcendence because it's only for the wealthy elite that can reach such heights. Now, if you notice, they're using the mantra of like this will be accessible to everybody at some point.
Everyone's got 33 million bitcoins.
Well, they're saying that they're doing this so that everybody can go up there one day, but I think that would be just. Of course, are we really going to be floating around, the outer limits of the atmosphere? I don't think so. I think they're just using a precursor for the synthetic upload or the augmented reality or AI. Artificial reality with regards to like headsets. I did mention this in one of the groups.
Yeah, you did. You like, what's the point in spending all that money and risking going up there and burning all of that fuel, right? Okay, let's think about it. We are supposed to be entering this new zero carbon universe, whatever.
Yeah.
Zero carbon universe. But everyone's going to be going to space, and like, because we know how much like fuel it takes to get out of the atmosphere. That's a lot of combustion. A lot of combustion.
Yeah.
It would be much easier just to put some goggles on, wouldn't it?
Yeah, which is what they'll do. I mean, would anybody know the difference if you're putting some kind of pod and put a headset on you? I mean, it did actually cross my mind. I mean, this is reaching a little bit, but this whole thing about covering your face and wearing a mask is in preparation for augmented reality. So
Mate, nothing's reaching anymore. Nothing's reaching.
So, in a few years' time, I mean, look, they've got to ease us into it slowly. the notion of covering your face is being a virtue or a great thing, and that offers freedom, is just one step away from them saying, here you go, here's a headset, stick this on, or a helmet, put this on. You're going to go to the outer limits. And would you know the difference?
I've already showed Earth 2. I showed you Earth 2, the synthetic universe that is already created, and people are buying real estate there.
Yeah.
I showed it 6 weeks ago. It was it's been a big thing this week. That there are like absolute record sales of land in Earth 2. Like I think like the prices of land in Earth 2 are skyrocketing more than on Earth.
Yeah,
like it's gonna be more it's gonna be more pleasurable and more sought after to live in the synthetic universe than here.
Yeah, well, I mean, stunts like what they've just done will add to that, will add value to that. And also, what's his name? He's involved with Bezos. Is it Bezos?
Well, isn't he about to go to the outer limits next week or something? Because I've heard people talking about that today. He's got some cock rocket or something. Looks like a penis.
Yeah, it was meant to be the story or the whatever. Yeah, it's meant to be that those two are having a sort of dick measuring competition.
Yeah.
Two of the wealthiest dudes in this realm who could actually, with their combined wealth, solve every single problem in this realm.
Yeah. How arrogant of them.
Yeah, and they've decided just to sort of masturbate all that money.
Spilled a big cock fly in space.
Yeah, and also that's symbolic with these kind of things that go up into.
I have an excellent meme. I have an excellent meme about this for Friday, by the way, about why Richard Branson's still a virgin. You might, yeah. Oh, I won't ruin it. It's really good.
Okay, yeah, I'll stand by for that one.
Yeah, he didn't make it. He's still a virgin.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. I mean, look, was it a coincidence that all these things coincided all at the same time?
I just feel like. Do you know what I was thinking earlier on? I remember back in the day when I would do. I rabbit hole every day. I still do. I did, and I still do. But back in the day when I wanted to expand the breadth of my rabbit hole, I would have to really sort of sit down. I'd write a list of all the different subjects I'd gone through before, the books I'd read, the websites I've gone all the way through, the researches that I'd finished with, and I'd actually have to search out the knowledge. I'd have to like go onto forums, ask other people about new avenues of investigation to learn new things. Now I literally just have to switch on the Denying Force channel, and it's like it's every day it's throwing things in my face.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I would barely
you
even
just
have
reminded
time
me.
to do any background reading anymore.
Yeah, you just reminded me of something. So the modern or quantum occultists, as I call them, they're sort of saying or suggesting that this Richard Branson activity that happened the other day is all to do with high altitude thinking. So literally, they are showing us what we're meant to be doing. So, for instance, we all know that saying. I mean, I'm probably going to butcher it now, but it's something to do with you need like a higher level of thinking to solve a problem. So you can't solve a problem on the same level.
You can't solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it.
Yeah. So you need high altitude thinking. Yeah. Which actually creates a triad, by the way. So it's symbolized in the shape of the pyramid. So your level of thinking is raised. So that means that you've got high altitude thinking. Then you can look down at the problem and solve it. The solution. Remember, I said the solution is always in the elevated point.
Change your attitude. Alter your attitude and change your altitude. That comes from one of our fans, Diego Sanchez.
Okay, yeah.
I really like that. Change your attitude and alter your altitude, and the altitude. And it doesn't mean about being higher than other people. It's not about a hierarchy of who knows more. Because that's another thing. They say, mate, oh, you rise above. Oh, you think you're above everyone else. No, not above everyone else. The only thing we're rising above is the Denying Force and the effect it has on us. We don't want to be a reactor. We want to be creators. And that's what it comes down to. And this is one of your mantras. Reactor or creator.
the teacher of my teacher, he used to say to his students something along the lines of, we're bipods. We stand upwards. We stand erect. We're not worms or slugs that crawl along the floor horizontally. We are meant to be upright beings. And it's not by accident that our brain is at the highest point. We could have our brains in our feet. We could imagine having our eyes, in each toe or something like that.
Yeah, imagine that viewpoint.
Well, I should imagine there's quite a few people that volunteer to live life in that way with 2 pairs of socks on and big boots.
What a meme. I hope Irish man is watching. It's good to know that it's like you say, a consciousness factory. We put ideas on the table, and then we have members of the team watching that. It's like, right, yes, that's a meme. That's a meme. It's good to have Irish man back.
You need a meme jingle.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of new jingles coming. I said I was in the studio this week. I'm a Beats. You need to get those jingles sent over to me. Wow, we've got 100 people watching on a Wednesday. Soon, Wednesdays is going to be as popular as Rise Above Fridays. I can see it coming. I need this Wednesday as like an anchor point, because if I didn't have this conversation now before Friday, I think like this conversation is me downloading my download. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe the next show's in 2 days already. It feels like I don't know what it feels like.
Well, look, I mean, we're living in an asylum, so this is almost like a counselling session.
Absolutely.
The Friday night is where like the patients can sort of
it's group therapy. That's what it is.
Yeah, a group hug.
No, yeah.
But look, right? These are cult groups, esoteric groups. That's what they do. They meet up once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month, and it's literally like a couple of hours of sanity before you go back into the asylum.
Yeah. Well, we're just a dear cult group, aren't we? Because like anyone can watch this show. You don't have to like know a secret password.
No.
Yeah.
Although we do need to have something like the 33 private club or something.
Oh, what?
No,
33 club. No, that would go against our whole ethos of being the occultists.
Yeah.
But maybe there should be. I feel like there should be like an initiation pool, because like I do worry sometimes, right? For brand new viewers, because now we have surpassed level 33. It's gonna be show 35 this week. I'll tell you what, I don't know about anybody else. My life has changed since episode 33. Absolutely. I feel like I've absolutely 100% regained my third force. But yeah, I do worry a little bit for brand new viewers who are noobs.
Have you heard from Comprehend?
Oh yeah. We were chatting today. He's asking for links. He's like, "Can you send me some links of what we were chatting about?" I was like, "What do you mean of what we were chatting about? This is Rise Above. What do you want, the Akashic Records in a link?" No,
it's okay then. It's okay.
Oh no, he's okay. No, mate, he's great. He's been bigging us up. He's cut some little clips out of the show, posting them up. He had a great time. Yeah, shit. We didn't even. That's the first thing we should do on a Wednesday, is recap about like last week's guest. We didn't even get a chance to do that. He was a fantastic guest, and it was really good to see someone's our hole open live on air. Just a little bit. He was already open, but we put the shoehorn in there and opened it a little bit more.
Yeah. No, it's very good. I was actually looking at some of his stuff, and I was really impressed. Yeah,
Mate,
he's really talented. He's really
truly
talented.
great rapper, mate. Like my missus isn't really into rap, and she's like, yeah, I mean, he's got like his historic references. He's deep. It's funny. It's like It's not like he's a little bit cheeky as well, and he's really good. It's like he's really like telling a story, he's painting a picture. You know, I study creative writing. It's my thing. You know, and
I thought it was very artistic, very clever the way he did the. He was collecting those Barbies, and he filmed himself.
Oh yeah.
It. And then he rides around on that tricycle thing. Which...
Yeah. No. He's got it. All of the everything. He's taken all the boxes. We Rise Above fully supports Comprehend.
Rise above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above.
Hope he's watching now.
Yeah. I recommend everybody go to his channel and check out his stuff. It's
Comprehend is the number one new UK rapper. He's not new. He's back on the scene. He took a little break for a couple of years, but he's back for the bang.
Have you got anybody else lined up to visit us?
Well, we have. We've got Cutty, who's a grime producer, MC, dubstep as well. He Magix knows all people in that music scene, and there's a couple we want to come on because we were talking about today. 2 other podcasts have popped up. Maestro, Mize Diggy, who is an absolutely legendary UK hip hop artist, old school generation, original veteran Don. He's popped up this year with his podcast, and I caught him talking about the trivium and the quadrivium, and I was like, wow, okay, great. Other people are talking about this.
Yeah.
And then there's also Wariko, who is a very well-known, excellent grime MC from Nottingham, and he's started a new podcast called the We're Not Lying Show. And like the first episode, I looked at it. It looks sick.
Yeah.
Totally fully professional. There's in a proper studio. He's rapping on the intro. It is absolutely fresh, totally professional. And I messaged him straight away. I was like, I'm instantly impressed by this. You've caught my attention straight away. I'm watching. So and Magix knows him. He has sent Magix has sent him some of my earlier videos, so he knows my stuff. So I at the moment, I do want to concentrate on trying to get people from the entertainment industry, the music scene. Not necessarily.
Well, I think you're going to see lots of I don't know how to describe it. People from the entertainment industry that are closet occultists that are going to suddenly appear. It's it's like when one goes, then others step up.
Once the mutiny starts,
I should imagine Rise Above is probably the catalyst for this type of thing as well.
I hope so. I always said this show was never meant to be a show about me. It was supposed to be a table, and it's also supposed to be a magnetic centre. I tell you what, the magnetic centre that I've created, like my phone is still going off now with people sending me 33. Just be quiet. I can't even process all the information that's coming, which in a way is good.
Yeah.
In other ways, it's not so great for me in my personal life.
Well, I did give a warning that once you create the correct triad, that you then evoke magnetism.
Mate,
something that may appear to be difficult to achieve. That's purely because there's no magnetism involved with that. You literally having to kind of force things to happen. Well, when you've got the triads involved in the correct way, then you'll start to evoke magnetism, where the realm starts working for you and with you, as within, so without. You become the cause. You become the cause, not the effect.
Fully activated, mate.
Yeah, which is
I have been a little bit overwhelmed by it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the foundation of the Inner Guardians. I realised it a couple of years ago that for the most part, most people are just the effect in their life. They're not the cause, and that can actually be changed, and it's lawful. It's right to change that.
Yeah,
at least address the balance, because if you're not careful, you just become a complete victim of the realm.
And that's not rising above.
Yeah, and that's what the dark cultures have done. They've hidden the knowledge from the peasants, the plebs, whatever they call them.
Yep.
Chickens. We're actually meant. Our real purpose is that we're meant to be gardeners. We're meant to be farmers in this realm.
Absolutely. We've got some comments on the screen, right?
Sure.
I was talking about getting people on, and people are talking about getting on Jumping Jack Frost. Now, he is an old school legendary drum and bass producer and DJ. I've already called this guy out on Facebook. He's pro-Coviet. He was making posts about, it's so nice to be finally allowed out to have my first pint, and he, all this. And I said, don't support being a cuck to this. And And I called him out. No reply. Well, apparently he's been stirring the race pot in the last couple of days as well, so I don't think he'll be coming on. I would happily come on and take him to task and tell him what I think of him. But I don't really think that's great viewing for everyone, because I think this guy's an agent, to be honest. That's what I think of him. For anyone, if anyone is sprouting pro-COVID stuff in one sentence, and then in the next sentence when we switch to BLM Summer is stirring that, I would be highly suspect of any people, especially in the public eye, that are acting like that. They're probably trying to score brownie points, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, there's lots of contradictions going on. I've forgotten his name now. The guest that you had before, Slim.
Tara Slim.
Tara Slim, yeah. I mean, he's hit the nail on the head quite a few times with regards to, spotting
all the time.
Spotting the contradictions in what people say and what they do, and flip-flopping.
People that claim to be these social justice warriors or uber compassionate types that are out for the good of everyone, well, they seem to be noticeably silent when the ultimate threat is presented. Some of them seem to be siding with the ultimate threat and helping to enforce it, collaborating with it, and trying to make excuses for it. So
yeah, I mean, I've had the same, and I've seen the same in my own industry, which is protection, and I've been called out, saying that I shouldn't mix my personal opinions with business matters on social media. This is aimed at Facebook, 'cause that's really the only social media that I use. And well, my business is personal protection, and as far as I'm concerned, this is the greatest existential threat in recent history. So I'm not actually mixing business with my opinions. I'm using my business and my opinions in context with personal protection. Now,
but as a personal protection specialist, your job is to use your opinion to identify threats, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've said this so many times. I've been so disappointed in all these personal protection gurus that haven't spotted anything that's doesn't appear to be as it should be in the last 18 months.
Yeah,
I keep going to say last year, but it's what is it? 18 months now. Almost.
It's 18 months. 18 months into the Soviet Union now. People are saying get guidance on. He's great. He made the anti spearing tune that got banned. He is great. Other people are saying about Mr. Traumatic. Now, Mr. Traumatic, this Welsh rapper, I used to really, I do still think he's all right, but he blocked me on Facebook because I called him out for being a hypocrite. He was always going on about smoking high grade weed, and he grows the best high grade weed. And then in the next. Something happened to him, and then he was like, "Oh no, you're all smoking genetically modified weed. I don't." And I was like, "Mate, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you think some scientist is genetically modifying your weed what under a microscope? I was like, you mental? It's someone in a greenhouse, cross pollinating seeds." I was like, "You're off your head." And then he blocked me, and so I don't think Mr. Traumatic will come on the show, unfortunately. Sorry, I just had to address that because a couple of people have asked about that, but he's already blocked me on Facebook. So that's a no, unfortunately.
Well, there'll be plenty of others that will come on.
We've.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, if you build the ark, they can survive the flood. Oh well, look at that. So we're actually up to 59 minutes. I said it's going to be a 1 hour chat tonight, and I'm actually quite pleased. I think we've covered everything. We had to have this halfway point before episode 35 because a lot of stuff we've covered tonight about what's happened earlier in the week. We are going to cover this again on Friday, but we're going to go a little bit deeper on it, and obviously I've got all the slides and everything as well. No other real agenda for Friday. It still is officially a Rise Above Light, yeah. Although it got quite heavy last week as per usual, but so 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock on Friday, we will continue to talk about the denying force, energy harvesting. Let's see what happens in the next couple of days. For everyone on Facebook, carry on checking my quantum de-occultism, my techno shamanism, or whatever I'm doing with my catalytic conversion. I will keep my eye on the denying force for the next few days before we hit Rise Above Live Friday, episode 35.
Yeah. Yeah, just lastly, it is very important that everybody participates in the transformation of this negative emotion
Yes.
in whatever way you can. You know, for some people it's going to be something small, for others it will be something major. Everybody's equal in this
Yeah.
participation. It doesn't matter
Everyone has to take part. Everyone has something to offer. Everybody has a part to play in this.
Yeah, there's nobody's coming to save us.
No, there is nobody coming to save us. There are no white hats. There's nothing like that. It's us.
Yep.
It's all us. Rise above, everybody.
Rise above.
Rise above.